longer to linger. Like, what is that from?
I don't know. What are you saying?
I don't know. Am I tapped into some dark part of my brain?
Put two or three things together to get that out.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right.
I will say, since we're still in the pre-show, I am very excited for the bestiary in this, because I think it's going to be way more fun than the last bestiary we covered.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's actually, like, options.
Well, the last one was limited. Yeah, it did have
dragons.
It was a topic.
Yeah.
In a book, so that's good.
This one had some fun stuff. I still have my glasses on. I forgot. Let me take those off.
Dun, dun,
I'll
dun.
leave one for the pre-show.
Okay.
I'll take them off for a dramatic reveal.
Yeah, you can do a CSI Miami and
Yep.
take them off right there at that point.
That's right. I thought he puts them on.
Either way, it can go either way.
Okay.
That's how talented of an actor he is.
That's true. That's a good point. And it goes, who are you?
Yeah. No.
I really want to know.
Yeah. Which is kind of their job. It's kind of strange to ask that right off the bat.
Well, they were hoping that the bad guy would just let him know.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Does make it easier, I guess.
Have a quick weekend.
Yeah. I got this one done.
Yeah, the pre-show is such a weird thing every week. Like, anything can happen. Anything. Oh, yeah, I got to do retweet and everything.
Retweet.
Yep.
Get the stuff out there.
Anything can happen during the pre-show.
Retweet.
It's a lawless zone.
Well, I'm pretty sure we have a couple podcasts coming up where it's going to be just kind of a free-for-all.
Yeah, that's right.
For the end of the year. It's like, we're not prepping for this. We're
just free form. Let's go.
Let's see what happens.
Let's rock. I remember wanting to rewatch Cowboy Bebop, like the original, because the Netflix version got canceled and got me thinking about it again.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's a good show.
It is. It's a very good show.
Yeah.
I want to go back and see, maybe do a full review on it and everything, and talk about, hey, this is why I think it's great.
Yeah.
As compared to adaptations of it.
Yeah. There's stuff that works in anime that just doesn't in live action.
I legitimately cannot think of a way you can do Ed in live action that will be good.
Yeah.
You know?
It's gonna be I don't know. Unless you're doing like a print for print, like they did with Psycho all those years ago.
That's true.
Their intent wasn't to redo it. They did redo it, but their intent was to get every shot.
Yeah.
To do it to remake it.
I did like the movie, the animated movie. I thought it was very good. It has one of my favorite choreographed animated fight scenes, which is when he drops the broom after he's been cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
He brings up his fist, and you see the movement start. It's like, that fight is so well choreographed.
Nice.
They put some work in it. They didn't just make a fight scene. They made a fight scene. It's very good.
Oh.
Well, like, Spike Spiegel's like top 10 best characters of all time, maybe, for main characters.
Well, you got the thing that works for me about that is it's kind of a traditional Japanese story.
Absolutely.
Right? Especially when you look how it ends up and you look at the kind of person that Spike is.
Yeah. All
through.
All fights with Spike are good. That is true.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just really well done.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and people will get mad about it. I know it's not a Cowboy Bebop review, but for the pre-show, whatever. People get mad at Bebop, the anime, because they go, well, Vicious kind of isn't a character. Well, he's not supposed to be. He's a force. You know, he's a menace.
Yeah.
He is there specifically to be a problem for Spike, and he does that job very well.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's very traditional Japanese storytelling.
Well, and it comes in line with, we've talked about it before, where sometimes in that style of storytelling, when you're given a character, your idea of what that character is not any kind of background on that character.
That's right.
It's going to be the reactions of the other people.
That's right. Absolutely.
That you get that off.
Absolutely.
And I think maybe sometimes that doesn't translate either.
Well, I think another weird thing, because now we're talking about it, got to think about it. In the Netflix version, they introduced Faye in episode 1.
Yeah.
And in the anime, it's like episode 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, there's a few episodes.
And I feel like that's a cultural difference too, right? We need all of our main characters introduced at the same time, so we know they're our main characters.
Mm-hmm.
whereas they don't. You know,
right?
It's a very different type of storytelling. You can have somebody new join the cast hundreds of episodes in, and they're treated like they've always been there.
Right, they're just as vital as the
Yeah,
but well, there's more than one story I can think of where, as you follow the story, it's not the characters; it's a story, and you have different characters now.
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
where the story began.
Absolutely. I think Heroes is a show that did it well.
Yeah, Sense8. I love Sense8.
Oh yeah,
that's a really good show. But they take a long time. It's a long time to get introduced to all the characters.
Yeah.
Over the first few episodes.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
There's good television out there, and there's bad television out there, and then there's Game of Thrones.
Right. Yeah.
So then there's episode. See, if I don't finish the sentence, people can come up with whatever they want. I could have been talking about Game of Thrones.
Look,
I could have been talking about Game of Cards.
Maybe.
Was that what's called? House of Cards? Oh no.
The well, now they know.
Yeah, now they know what I'm talking about.
God. There's actually a new. They're doing a Macbeth that looks really, really good.
Yeah.
Coming up, I like that. Well, it's kind of stylized with the art.
Yeah.
And it looks really, really good.
Okay.
Going through that, which like Macbeth and Hamlet, there's a few of them. You can take that story and put it anywhere.
Yes, absolutely.
And make it do good. So it looks like there's some trappings about it that are traditional.
Right.
And there's some that are definitely from a modern movie making point.
Okay.
You know, it's very stylized. Anyway, there's a trailer for it. It looks really, really good.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. Kind of like Shakespeare when they put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why haven't we got another Warhammer movie? That's like a perfect place. But granted, they probably would mess it up. But
I don't know, man. You've got a pretty big star who is a huge Warhammer fan. Who would be one of Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
That has more than once mentioned that.
Did you see that Jimmy Kimmel was, or not Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy
Fallon?
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon was like, Did
he call it Warcraft?
No, he called it childish, and asked why he was playing with toys. And then Tom Holland was like, "I want to play."
Yeah.
To try and help bail him out, because why are you doing this on live TV? Like, let the man have his fun.
Right. Oh my gosh. No.
Warhammer's cool, Jimmy. Put me on your show. Actually, put me on your show. I'll come talk to you about Warhammer.
Right. Run you through a game one time.
That's right. I'll explain why it's great. Speaking of great, though, we should probably get into this book.
All right, let's do it.
Hello, hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum D&D Podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungren.
We've got Strixhaven to talk about tonight. Specifically tonight, we're talking about the new character options that come in with Strixhaven, which means if you are looking to make a new character, or you're looking to start a new campaign in Strixhaven, there's a bunch of new options that you might be interested in. Starting with a brand new race.
Okay.
Now, you guessed last week.
I thought they would be owlish.
Yes.
That's what I said.
And the race is Owlin.
Okay.
You got it.
It's a school, right?
Yes.
Wisdom.
Yes.
Okay.
Owlin can fly.
Nice.
They have a flight speed equal to their walking speed, which is 30 feet. But they can't use the flying speed at all if they're wearing medium or heavy armor.
Okay.
It's a pretty good way to balance it out. I would also say as a DM, if it's raining heavily, probably not going to let them use the flight speed. Owls are weighed down by water when it comes to rain. They're medium or small. They have dark vision. Dim light, 120 feet around them. As if it were bright light, darkness if it was dim light, you know? Yeah. And then they also have silent feathers, which is proficiency in stealth. Which makes sense for owls.
Now, their arch enemy needs to be the Kinku.
Right.
Because ravens and owls hate each other.
Mm-hmm. I think this is a really interesting race because, we already had the Aarakocra, right?
Yeah.
He can fly for a little bit. I say a little bit, realistically. You get an Aarakocra barbarian, he's in the air.
Yeah.
But I think this is the far more magical or roguish take on it, which is interesting because I think these would make great rogues.
Well, I like the fact that what the bird is affects the character, like the silent feathers. Take advantage of that.
Yes, absolutely. They also mentioned that, hey, your Owlin character might be nocturnal.
Fair.
Keep that in mind, Perhaps they simply are prone to rise a little bit later in the morning. but they still get up earlier in the day than
an owlbear pet. An owl person with an owlbear pet.
That'd be pretty great. That's really all there is to the race. There's not like sub-races variants or anything like that.
Yeah.
Those will come later, I'm sure.
Well, that's pretty. I mean, it's pretty. That's pretty cool. There's nothing super, drastic about it. It just seems to fit. So that's good. I like it.
You can fly, but only if you're not wearing medium or heavy armor.
Yeah.
So an Owlin Paladin is not going to be your go-to, right?
And yeah, you're medium or small. So, but you have advantage on stealth. So
yeah,
very nice.
You move quickly and silently in the night, Darkwing Duck style.
Heck yeah.
Then you get the Strixhaven backgrounds. So these are if you are taking one of the colleges as your background. Because again, they give you, as we mentioned last week, you don't just have to go with Scholar. You can go with a specific college to get different benefits. Yeah. If you go with the Lorehold background, then you get skill proficiencies in history and religion.
Okay.
For anybody who doesn't remember from last week, Lorehold is the looking to the past to advance to the future college. You get languages, 2 of your choice. For equipment, you get a bottle of black ink, an ink pen, a hammer, a hood and lantern, a tinderbox, a tome of history, a school uniform, and a pouch containing 15 gold. You also get a feature, which is the Strixhaven Initiate Feat. Which is very strong to get for a background, to get a feat.
Yeah.
And we'll get into what that feat can do later on.
Okay.
But if you have spellcasting or pact magic, there are Lorehold spells that you can take. Because you have the Lorehold background.
That's handy.
I think that this background, unlike... Like, realistically, your character's background should be way more important than it actually is in play most of the time.
Yeah.
For instance, not to just always talk about our campaigns, but I played a sailor in your campaign.
Yeah.
And that was most of what he was, right? He didn't know a lot about everything else. He was just a really good sailor. And I think that this is an attempt to make backgrounds more important again.
Yeah.
Where, hey, if you take this one, it drastically changes your character.
Yeah.
Which I think is good.
Instead of just giving you a couple of little skills.
Right.
Extra skills.
Now, your Lorehold spells are first level. You have access to comprehend languages and identify.
That's nice.
Yes. Second level, you get the new spell Borrowed Knowledge, which we're going to get to in a little bit. And Locate Object. Third level, you get Speak with Dead and Spirit Guardians.
Okay.
Fourth level, you get Arcane Eye and Stone Shape. And at fifth level, you get Flame Strike and Legend Lore.
Okay.
Very, very
Legend
cool.
Lore.
They also give you, like, hey, if you're just like the regular backgrounds, here's some tables you can roll on with some trinkets. I think the personality things, they're cool. Far less interesting to me than the trinkets.
Yeah.
So I think instead of going over all the personality traits, although I do want to mention a couple of the really cool ones here. Like number 4 is the spirits of the dead are so much more interesting to talk with than living classmates.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, yeah. Or number 5, I can speak eloquently about the historical ramifications of an ancient war, but ask me to add 2-digit numbers together and I'm a mess. And that's just a really fun character idea, you know?
Yeah.
The trinkets, though. A map made of concentric circles that can be rotated around the page. A puzzle box bedecked with amber. A dented brass compass with a red needle. The head of a broken statue that houses the consciousness of a snarky sage.
Okay.
I love that. A sheet of parchment embossed with tactile lettering, glowing red. And a broken dagger with a wavy blade and a serpentine hilt. And that's the Lorehold background.
All right.
Again, we have one of these for each of the colleges. I think that each of them are really cool. I don't want to sprint past any of them, you know.
Right.
But some of the stuff is going to be a little more similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the Prismari students. This is the artistic college. They get acrobatics and performance.
Makes sense.
They also have one type of musical instrument or artisan's tools as their proficiencies for tools. One language of their choice. They get a bottle of black ink, an ink pen. Every student has to have those.
Right.
A set of artisan's tools are a musical instrument, a school uniform, and a pouch containing 10 gold pieces, depending on how you read GP. I read it differently every time. You also get the Strixhaven Initiate Feat, which we'll talk about later. And if you're a spellcaster, first level you get access to Chromatic Orb, and Thunder Wave.
Those
Very
are
good
good
spells.
That's
Second
good.
level is Flaming Sphere and Kinetic Jaunt, which we're going to get to later. Very excited for you to hear that one. Third level is Haste and Water Walk.
Yeah, anywhere you can slide in haste is good.
Yes. Take this for a cleric and get haste early on. 4th level, Freedom of Movement and Wall of Fire. And 5th level, Cone of Cold and Conjure Elemental.
It's just weird getting these from backgrounds.
It is, right? One thing I really like, though, they mentioned in here, hey, consider customizing how your spells look. You know, you're a Prismari student.
Yeah.
So your spells shouldn't just be, I'm going to throw a fireball.
Right.
It should be, I'm going to do this dynamic movement of my hands.
Fountain of Flame.
Yeah. It's a very cool idea to mix it in there. But I agree, it's very weird for backgrounds. I mean, there are a couple backgrounds already that give it, but it's very rare. You know? Yeah. So, it's interesting. Personality traits, of course. Life of the party. Expect everyone's attention when I walk into a room. Everyone is a critic, and I work to win them over. Or my personal favorite, instead of confronting my negative emotions, I channel them into explosive artistic displays.
Okay.
Which is me. And that artistic display is called the Full Spectrum. No, I think that's a really fun character idea. The Trinkets are a pair of rose-tinted glasses with glittery frames. A stoppered glass bottle that, when opened, plays a brassy orchestral piece.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love that. A quartet of hovering water motes in a vial. A bandolier of watercolor paints. I just want a character to walk into a room and have the bandolier with paints.
Yeah.
That's awesome. A tiara capped with a crystal that crackles with harmless lightning. Or an iridescent quill.
Okay.
I think these backgrounds are pretty interesting so far.
I like it. I think it's a kind of a little bit different way of doing a background.
Mm-hmm.
And it does. It's going to weigh a lot heavier on what your character does.
Yes. I'm interested in how you feel about this one, because I remember Quandrix was your favorite.
Yeah.
Quandrix is next, and they have proficiency in Arcana and Nature. Tool proficiencies is one type of Artisan's Tools. Languages is one of your choice. And then for equipment, they get a bottle of black ink, an ink pen, an abacus, a book of arcane theory, a uniform, and a pouch for 15 gold. They get the feat, of course. And then their spells are first level Entangle and Guiding Bolt.
That's nice.
Because they're messing with vectors.
Yeah.
You know? Second level is Enlarge, Reduce, and Vortex Warp, which is a new spell we're going to get to.
Okay.
Third is Aura of Vitality and Haste.
Nice.
Fourth is Control Water and Freedom of Movement. And then here's the interesting one. Fifth is Circle of Power and Pass Wall.
Okay.
I forget Pass Wall exists, because nobody ever takes it.
Yeah.
But it's a very good spell. And again, they say, hey, consider how Quandrix mages would cast these. You know, maybe they're going to write out in the air with a quill a formula, and then the spell is going to go off. You know, which is really cool to me. Yeah. Fractal patterns.
I like it.
Personality types, of course. There's 6 of these for each of them, but I'm only reading out my favorites. Before I graduate, I want to achieve something mathematically impossible. I must leave a legacy. Which is very cool. Mm-hmm. I believe I'm always the smartest person in the room, and I'll prove it even if no one asks me to.
Right.
And then, of course, my personal favorite, which is, when I find a subject I'm interested in, I won't stop studying until I know everything about it. It keeps me up at night. It's just...
Go on.
That's it. That's the whole thing. It keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
The Trinkets are a small succulent in a dodecahedral clay pot.
Okay.
A blue knit hat that looks a bit like a bottle folding in on itself.
All right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
A model hypercube carved from green crystal, showcasing the 4th dimension. A crumpled test on the theory of gravity manipulation, with a failing grade on the front and the name of a famous Quandrix professor.
Ah.
A blue tetrahedron that, when tapped twice, projects a recording of an old mathematics lecture.
Yeah, I like that.
I do too. A round bread roll cut so that someone could spread butter on both halves without ever lifting the knife.
A Mobius bread. Okay.
Yes.
I think I can actually do that.
Right?
Yeah.
This is very cool. Then, of course, next is Silverquill. This is the literature, the power of words, you know. Their proficiencies are Intimidation and Persuasion. Language is 2 of their choice. And equipment-wise, they get 2, just like Lorehold. But everybody else is just 1. Sucks to suck. Equipment is a bottle of black ink, an ink pen, a book of poetry, a school uniform, and a pouch containing 15 gold.
Right.
Their spells are first level Dissonant Whispers, which is a great first level spell.
That is a good spell.
And Silvery Barbs, which is a new spell we're going to get into. Second is Calm Emotions and Darkness. Mm-hmm. Third is Beacon of Hope and Daylight. Because they're, bringing people up. Fourth is Compulsion and Confusion.
Nice.
Very nice. And fifth is Dominate Person and Rary's Telepathic Bond. I like that they're pulling in some of these more underutilized spells.
Yeah, and you just get them.
Yeah. It's very, very strong. I want to get through all of them, and then I really want to discuss the idea of you of like, hey, these are just really strong.
Well, they are, because you can't... Here, the problem with this right now is if you need to let everybody pick these backgrounds out of, or something comparable, or buff up some of the other backgrounds. Because you have one player, especially if you have two casters, and you have one caster picking from here.
Yeah,
he's already added advantage.
That's right.
Already got it ahead.
I think what really balances
Sorry, Dark.
But, oh yeah, those are fun.
Glad you're here.
Fun. I think what balances out to me is the way that it affects your character, because your character doesn't. You don't get to go, well, my character would probably know about that because my character's from that area. Yeah, but your character spent the last 12 years at Strixhaven.
Yeah.
Your character doesn't get to know about that stuff. We're talking about the how strong these new backgrounds are, Dark, for Strixhaven, where they get access to spell lists for free that everybody else doesn't get.
Yeah. And a feat.
Yeah.
I've yet to find out what the feat is, but
we're getting there.
Yeah.
Silverquill's personality traits are: I'll say whatever I need to in order to maintain my high social status.
Have you ever been to the Cloud District? What
Right.
am I saying? Of course you haven't.
No one knows about the all-nighters I've pulled to keep my magic looking effortless, and I'm going to keep it that way.
Yeah.
And then my personal favorite: I've mastered the art of using humor as a defense, and I always have a charming joke ready.
Yeah.
I wish my jokes were charming. The trinkets are a black leather notebook filled with half-finished poems, a set of flashcards detailing different colloquialisms and their meanings, a canteen that makes any liquid drunk from it taste sweet, a forged permission slip granting access to the special archives of Strixhaven's libraries,
Ooh.
a stylish silver pen that references a famous series of novels about warlocks,
Okay.
and a stack of small pieces of parchment, each enchanted to stick to whatever surface is pressed against and peel off easily.
Post-it notes?
Post-it notes?
Yeah!
Yeah!
Post-it notes, you're now canon.
I think that trinket is too strong, though, because it doesn't say how many there are. And if I was that player, 100% I'm going, yeah, I just have a bunch of Post-it notes.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick a note here.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick a note
here. Down this, as we go through this maze.
Yeah. We're 20th level. You're still sticking notes? How many do you have? A stack.
Yeah.
And then finally is the Witherbloom Students. These are the ones for life and death.
Mm-hmm.
They get nature and survival as skill proficiencies, an herbalism kit as their tool proficiencies, a language of their choice, equipment being a bottle of black ink, an ink pen, a book about plant identification, an iron pot, the herbalism kit, a school uniform, and a pouch containing 15 gold, and they get the feat as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are able to cast spells, at first level you get access to cure wounds and inflict wounds.
Okay.
Which is very good combo.
Very good.
Second, you get Lesser Restoration and Wither and Bloom, which is another new spell we're going to get into.
Okay.
Third is Revivify and Vampiric Touch. Fourth is Blight and Death Ward.
Blight.
Very good spell. And fifth is Anti-Life Shell and Greater Restoration.
Wow. Just given. Just.
Yep.
I mean, you're going to be high level to cast those, but still.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, you still have to use your spell slots to cast them.
Yeah, I know, but you don't have to prep them.
You don't have to prep them. You always have access to Anti-Life Shell. That's an incredible spell to just always have.
Well, I'm saying, like a wizard coming from here is nasty.
He's already ready to go.
Yeah.
Who needs... And I think in a lot of ways this answers the problem that Wizard has.
The spellbook?
Oh, you don't have to worry about gathering up spells for a spellbook.
Yeah.
You just get them as you level. Nothing past 5th.
Right.
But still, that's most of the campaign, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's very, very good for wizards that are getting tired of having to gather their own spells.
Yeah.
Personality traits. I love brewing up a new recipe, even if some might be repulsed by my choice of ingredients. or the final product, or both. My fashion sense is like my garden, withered, black, and weird. Or I want to read. I have my personal favorite, but I want to read two more.
Okay.
I want to read the other one, which is "Don't interrupt me. I'm brooding." And then my personal favorite: I'm going to befriend every single monster in this swamp if it's the last thing I do.
Right on.
And then for the trinkets, a black bird-shaped mask trimmed with glowing green thread, a set of rabbit bones, a pair of thick knee-high waders stained with muck and moss. I want to just play a character that's wearing that.
That'd be good. That would be good for a null character.
Right?
Yeah.
Very much. The cooking one? Yes. Yeah. A slimy green tentacle, which occasionally wriggles.
Nice.
A notebook containing waterproof paper, and a necklace of 5 small vials, each filled with luminescent white liquid. So, I feel like I should probably now tell you about this feat, so that you can decide how you feel about it all.
Okay.
The feat is, in and of itself, the spell list.
Okay.
So that is the part of that. You can take this feat if you don't have the background, but it takes up a feat. If you choose the background, you get the feat for free.
Make a first level variant human.
Yeah.
And get 2 feats.
Yep.
Right off the bat.
It's very good.
It is.
Rotted food, bits of bone and stuff to chew on. Yeah. I played a half-orc for a while that kept all kinds of bad food in his pouch and would offer it to people.
Yeah. It's a fun character to play.
Would you like some? Want some of this? Alright then. Yeah, no. It's a very good feat. The thing to remember with it too is that when you choose this feat, or when you take the background and get this feat, you get to choose whether you want your spellcasting ability to be intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. So you literally just get to make it for you, you know? However, here's where things get pretty crazy. Because you get to choose specific spells that you can cast for free without a spell slot if they're first level. But you can't do that again for a full day. It's a long rest, basically. But you can also cast it with your spell slots. So dwarves that believe in always having snacks on hand to offer people. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Just being polite.
If you are in the Lorehold College,
you
can choose between Light, Sacred Flame, or Thaumaturgy for your free one.
Okay.
If you're in Prismari, you can choose... you get 2. But you use 1.
Right, okay.
You can choose between Firebolt, Prestidigitation, and Ray of Frost. For Quandrix, and you might notice none of these are the spells that are in the list they get. Yeah. So you just get a free one of these.
Yeah.
Quandrix, you get Druid Calf, Guidance, and Mage Hand.
Okay.
Silverquill, you get Sacred Flame, Thaumaturgy, and Vicious Mockery. Oh. Witherbloom, you get Chill Touch, Druidcraft, and Spare the Dying.
Dang.
Very, very strong.
Yeah.
There's another feat you can take.
Okay.
But you can't take this until after 4th level, and you must have Strixhaven Initiate as a feat.
Okay.
And this is Strixhaven Mascot. You can cast the Find Familiar spell as a ritual. Your familiar can take the form of the mascot associated with the college you chose for the Strixhaven Initiate feat.
Okay.
Spirit Statue Mascot for Lorehold, an Art Elemental Mascot for Prismari, a Fractal Mascot for Quandrix, an Inkling Mascot for Silverquill, or a Pest Mascot for Witherbloom. And of course the stat blocks will be in one of the later chapters. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can forego 1 attack to allow your mascot familiar to make 1 attack of its own with its reaction. That's not that great, right? No. That's actually not that great.
No.
But the second feature, if your mascot familiar is within 60 feet of you, you can teleport as an action, swapping places with the familiar. If your destination space is too small for you to occupy, the teleportation fails and is wasted. Once you teleport in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of 2nd level or higher to do it again!
Man.
That's so good!
Hey, there's going to be some sick dual classing.
Right? Just,
man.
Bloop. I'm going to send my spirit statue familiar behind the enemy, and then we're switching places.
This is right? Golly.
That's so good. That's incredible. I love that so much. But that's pretty much the backgrounds feat section. We still have spells and magic items to go through.
Okay.
So we still have plenty to talk about tonight. But I want to just touch base on you with it. Do you think it's too strong? Do you think that...
It's strong enough to where I'm not going to let one player have that background.
Right.
You know, it's like either... It's almost... If I'm going to allow for these backgrounds and stuff, I'm going to be like, all right, everybody's going to this college.
Yes.
Everybody has access to this. And if you choose not to take it, that's different.
Right.
But not being able to take it...
I agree.
You know, one person can. It's too powerful for that.
Yeah, it changes things up a lot. It really does.
Well, you know, especially like I said, you get to 4th level wizard, and then you multi-class over with just those, you know, being able to, a lot of stuff you can do.
Yeah,
that's very, very powerful.
Or you play a cleric, and now you have access to all of these other spells on top of the ones you already have access to, and you can change every day.
Yeah.
So you just always have these very useful ones prepared, and then you're changing ones as utility slots.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
I think that you can really do a fun high magic campaign with these backgrounds. Like,
yes,
everybody's playing a caster.
Everybody's a caster, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's really fun. Get the Eldritch Knight in there and the Pact of the Blade Warlock, and then you have your frontliners, but they also have a ton of spells they can play around with.
But the Arcane Trickster... If you have a 14th level Arcane Trickster with these backgrounds, I mean, you're a monster.
Yeah. Especially if you're an Owlin.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, because
you also look like an owl. But yeah, it's pretty... It's kind of surprising to me, man, because like I said, that's a lot you're putting on right out of the gate.
It's crazy to me getting the feat for free is the thing that really just hammers it home. Of like, that's nuts.
Yeah, you get all these frickin' spells.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of spells, we have some new ones.
I'd hope so.
There are Silvery Barbs, which is an enchantment spell that can be taken by Bard, Sorcerer, and Warlock. And it is casting time, 1st level. Casting time, 1 reaction.
Okay.
Which you take when a creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself succeeds on an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw.
Okay, so as long as they're doing good.
60 feet range. Components are verbal. Duration's instantaneous. You magically distract, that's how words work, the triggering creature and turn its momentary uncertainty into encouragement for another creature. The triggering creature must re-roll the d20 and use the lower roll.
That's weird. Okay.
You literally go, hey, they succeeded?
Try again.
Yeah, maybe you won't. You can then choose a different creature you can see within range. You can choose yourself. The chosen creature has advantage on the next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw it makes within 1 minute. The creature can be empowered by only 1 use of the spell at a time.
Yeah.
Still so you go, hey, you fail, spell. I'm going to succeed.
Yeah. That's a pretty interesting spell.
Yeah. I like it. It's fun. It's a very different kind of spell from what you normally get.
Yeah.
2nd level is Borrowed Knowledge, which is a divination spell. Can be taken by Bard, Cleric, Warlock, and Wizard. Borrowed Knowledge is 2nd level divination, casting time 1 action, range is self, verbal, somatic, or material, or all 3, sorry. And the material is a book worth at least 25 gold. Duration is an hour. You draw on knowledge from spirits of the past. Choose 1 skill in which you lack proficiency. For the spell's duration, you have proficiency in the chosen skill. The spell ends early if you cast it again.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
I forgot what that used to be called.
It did have an old name, for sure.
But I think the original spell. No, okay, yeah, the skill spell was like that.
Yeah.
They also had the other one for attributes, where the spell was something the attribute. You had to have an individual spell for each attribute, but the skill one, I don't remember the name of it.
I think 3.5 had like a thing that could force expertise for you too.
Yeah.
Where you got to double your proficiency.
Right. Right.
But I don't think it was a spell. I think it might have been like an item.
Oh, okay.
But 2nd level also has Kinetic Jaunt, which is a transmutation spell. Artificer, Bard, Sorcerer, and Wizard can take it. And Kinetic Jaunt is a bonus action casting time. Range is self, components are somatic, duration is concentration up to a minute. You magically empower your movement with dance-like steps, giving you the following benefits for the duration. Your walking speed is increased by 10 feet.
Okay.
You don't provoke opportunity attacks.
Nice.
You can move through the space of another creature, and it doesn't count as difficult terrain. However, if you end your turn in another creature's space, you are shunted to the last unoccupied space you occupied, and you take 1d8 force damage.
Yeah.
So, just keep that in mind. But that's a fun spell.
I'm totally running a Footloose campaign.
Right?
I just got to figure out who's going to be Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. No, I agree. We also have Vortex Warp, which is a 2nd level spell. Conjuration. Artificer, Sorcerer, and Wizard can take it. And Vortex Warp is a 1-action cast time. 90 feet on the range. Verbal and somatic. Duration's instantaneous. You magically twist space around another creature you can see within range.
That's handy.
The target must succeed on a con save, but they can choose to fail. Or they're teleported to an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see within range. The chosen space must be on a surface or in a liquid that can support the target without the target having to squeeze. At higher levels, when you cast it, the range increases by 30 feet for each spell slot above second.
Oh, God.
You can do some crazy stuff with this, and since your target can choose to fail, and it's not an enemy, it's just a creature.
Yeah.
You can do this on allies, too.
Yes.
And just...
Yeah. Just move them where you need to.
Yep. Very strong. Very, very strong. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Good spell.
And then finally, Wither and Bloom. 2nd level spell. School of Necromancy. And Druid, Sorcerer, and Wizard are the classes that can take it. Wither and Bloom has a casting time of 1 action, range of 60 feet. Components are verbal, somatic, and material. A withered vine twisted into loop. Duration's instantaneous. You invoke both death and life upon a 10-foot radius sphere centered on a point within range. Each creature of your choice in that area must make a con saving throw, taking 2d6 necrotic damage on a failed save, half as much as a successful save. Non-magical vegetation in that area withers. In addition, one creature of your choice in that area can spend and roll one of its unspent hit dice and regain a number of hit points equal to the roll plus your spellcasting mod. At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a slot of 3rd or higher, the damage increases by 1d6 for each slot, and the number of hit dice that can be spent and added to the healing roll increases by 1 for each slot above 2nd.
Man, that's an interesting healing spell.
It is. Heal and do damage at the same time.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's guaranteed damage because they take half as much on a failed save. So that's a
That's
very
good spell.
strong.
Good spell.
I like it. I'm going to take it on my druid. So, there's some new magic items as well, and this is the one I've been saving for you.
Okay.
It's the one that I've been trying not to tell you for so long.
All right. Let's have it.
It's a wondrous item.
Okay.
It's common. It's a bottle of Boundless coffee.
Oh, yeah.
This metal bottle carries delicious warm coffee. The bottle comes with a stopper, which is attached to the bottle by a little chain. Even when open, the bottle won't accept any liquid other than coffee, which it produces. The coffee inside is always comfortably warm, and none of the heat can be felt through the bottle. Each time you drink the coffee, roll a d20. On a 1, the bottle refuses to dispense coffee for the next hour. If you pour coffee from the bottle rather than drinking from it, the coffee vanishes the moment it leaves the bottle.
Okay.
So you will always have coffee. It can't be destroyed by bad rolls.
We can't. I couldn't have that. How would we know when to stop the podcast?
That's right. Podcast would never end.
That's like one of those unlimited water heaters. How do you know to get out of the shower?
That's right.
If the hot water doesn't cut off.
That's right. Oh, man. I'd be in trouble. Next up is the cuddly Strixhaven Mascot. Wondrous item, common. Representing one of the mascots of Strixhaven, the soft, tiny magic toy is perfect for cuddling. If you press it to your arm, shoulder, or leg as an action, the toy stays attached there for 1 hour or until you use the action to remove it. The toy can also be used to fight off fear. When you make a saving throw to avoid or end the frightened condition on yourself, and give yourself advantage on the roll if the toy is on your person. You must decide to do so before rolling the d20.
Yeah.
And if the save succeeds, you can't use the toy in this way again until you finish a long rest.
Well, that's kind of silly.
Yeah.
Because if you pass the... I mean, what kind of douche DM is going to have 2 things giving fear? Because if you pass your fear check, you're immune to it for the next 24 hours.
That's right.
You know, you can't be feared by it again. That's a little bit silly at the end of that.
It is.
But all right.
I think it's a cool idea, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to cuddle this mascot. So
No, they had me at it's like, can't do it again until long rest.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm right there with you, though. It's really dumb to me of like, I have, it would literally have to be, here's any regular fear, and then here's like, an illithid sphere, you know?
Or like that, yeah, the white dragon, ancient white dragon didn't scare you. Here's an ancient red dragon.
Yeah.
I want somebody scared, dadgummit.
Right. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Let your players be.
Yeah.
Let that player alone.
Right. It's just a weird thing to put a tag on the end of it.
It is. The next one is the Lorehold Primer. This requires attunement by a spellcaster. It's a magic textbook created at the Lorehold College. Primer has 3 charges, and it regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. you make an intelligence, history, or religion check while holding the primer. You can expend 1 charge to give yourself a D4 bonus to the check immediately after you roll the D20. In addition, if you study the primer at the end of a long rest, you can choose 1 first-level spell from the Cleric or Wizard spell list. Before you finish your next long rest, you can cast the chosen spell once without a spell slot if you're holding the primer.
Wow.
The spellcasting ability for the spell is your choice of intelligence, wisdom, or charisma.
You know, if you do this the right way, you can cast quite a few spells before you got to start worrying about spell slots.
Right. Cast these for free.
Golly.
There's also one of these for all the rest of the colleges, basically. Prismaris is acrobatics and performance. Quandrix is intelligence, arcana, and nature. Silverquill is intimidation and persuasion. And Witherbloom is for nature and survival. And they all work exactly the same way, where you can regain their expended charges, or you can cast spells for free. But again, it's their individual spells.
Right.
But then the last magic item is the Strixhaven Pennant. This magic pennant bears the symbol of Strixhaven, or one of its colleges. While you wave the pennant, the symbol on it glitters, and the pennant sheds bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet.
Okay. Pretty standard. Nice
a
little
fun
equipment.
little thing.
Yeah. Nothing super there. Just a cool little thing.
So what do you think about the new character options for Strixhaven?
Man, I took it back to one. They're powerful. I like them, and I like the fact that they're putting these in as, hey, these backgrounds are really going to affect a character more than what backgrounds normally do. You know,
right.
You're not going to pick these just for. Well, I guess you would, but normally backgrounds is like, well, let me pick something where I get a couple of extra skills, right, or something like that, and just a little more deep. I think they need to go do something to bulk up the PHB ones.
I agree.
Like, hey, if you're running Strixhaven, and you can use the backgrounds from the PHB, but here's this. Yeah. You know, on it, here's this, something to kind of balance it out.
I agree.
I don't know. I think it's going to make maybe. I'm wondering if this is going to be kind of kind of keep up with this, with what they get coming out for backgrounds and stuff. Yeah. To where you really get something feasible that you're really going to use for the background.
I like this a lot. I think it has a lot of options that you can proc into with it. A lot of ways to really make some fun characters. My only concern is that this will lead to, well, like you mentioned, we can only use these in Strixhaven, or we can only use these if everybody's using them. Yeah. Which means now every campaign is a bunch of casters. You know? Right. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that, for sure. I think every table is going to be different, but these are very strong in a way that the others just aren't.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, any spell for free.
Yeah.
Even if it's cast once. And I will stand by the fact, any spell. Right. Is good. I mean, it's just a bonus. I mean, you can't.
That's right.
That's powerful.
Well, and I took Fey Initiate, I believe is what the feat's called. Yeah. For my druid recently, that allows me to cast Dissonant Whispers for free. Mm-hmm. Allows me to cast Misty Step for free. I'm going to use those every fight. Yeah. Because I have them.
And they're free.
They cost nothing. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I mean, I guess they cost an action, but, so does all the other stuff I'm going to cast that I don't get to do for free. Yeah. So, yeah, it's very good.
Well, look, you don't have to... just on the basis, just on the combat aspect of it, right? Mm-hmm. You have got feel 'em out spells that don't cost you anything, right? You don't have to cast something major and hopefully hope it hits. You can do a couple
throw that out for free.
A couple of free things right off the bat and get quite a bit of information back.
Yeah, for sure. It's very good.
Oh, good. Well, and the magic items, there weren't a lot of them, but they all seem to fit. Yeah, which is nice.
Endless coffee makes a lot of sense for college.
It does. And they had and I think that's a big thing. The whole college outlook. Yeah. It really kind of fits in and stays with that.
It does. It doesn't try to deviate too much, for sure.
No. It's almost like in this one, it's like we really don't care with this one if you use it in other in other areas.
This is its own setting. Yeah. Use it if you want to, but it is its own setting. Yeah. The next couple chapters, specifically chapters 3, 4, and 5, and 6, are all adventure.
Right through to get you going. It goes up to 10th level. Yeah. You said.
So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to some of the new things they've added in here. Okay. specifically, they've added in a thing called relationships. They want you to try to do with NPCs. Because again, you have every Strixhaven student has 2 counselors.
Right.
They have a teacher. They have other students in their class. They want you to do relationship points that you as the DM would keep up with.
This kind of goes back to the first chapter, and they're really trying to build up like NPCs.
Yes.
You know, and the relationship between them. So it makes sense that they have something to track that.
Yeah. They also have a memoir card that they want you to roll out for. You don't have to use, but it's an option that you could. You know, each player could have a copy of it, and I'll show it to you, and then I'll show it to the camera.
Little report card, progress report.
Yeah, it moves.
Can you get it?
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Which is pretty nifty.
Exactly. They have other students they can seduce.
For
Why
sure.
would you go to college other than that?
For sure. But I think those are just some really cool ideas. And then they're like, hey, maybe you have extracurricular stuff that your students are doing, and here's some ideas for that that I think are just really cool. Of like, hey, if they do this, then they get these skills.
Right.
Which I think is very interesting. Like, if, hey, do they do the intramural gymnastics club? Then they get acrobatics and performance. You know?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of fun to be done here. They have stuff like jobs, where, hey, what jobs do your students do? Where they, like, get paid, you know? And some of them are good. Like, hey, the Biblioplex is looking for cleanup crew members, garden tenders, store workers. And some of them are like, hey, yeah, the cafe needs a server.
Right.
You know?
Hey, look. All my players get graded. They just haven't got their report card yet.
So it's very cool the way they did it. Again, as you get into it, it becomes more just, hey, here we go. This is the combat and stuff.
Well, the way they're building up skills and stuff there, where you like take something and you get a couple skills to take it. That reminds me more of like a Palladium system.
For sure,
you know, where your stats and stuff are changed by your skills.
Mm-hmm.
You get abilities and stuff by things you've done.
And there are dungeons in here and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of...
Yes, you can.
You
can live the dream.
You can.
Absolutely be a janitor.
There's a lot of really interesting encounters that they've set up here. They walk you through all the way to 10th. You go fight the big bad. You know, they take you to each of the different campuses over the course of it. It's very nice, right?
Right.
But again, we don't run adventures.
Yeah.
So we don't normally talk about the adventures themselves. So if you're looking for a good adventure in a cool setting, especially in a school setting, which has the word cool in it, then you could run this, you know. 10 levels.
Yeah.
And then next week we'll be talking about the bestiary.
That should be good.
Which has a lot of really interesting stuff in it, I think.
It should.
But that's pretty much what I got for you today. Why is there even a janitor that should be able to create runes?
Oh, or like golems, I don't see. You know what? That's probably true.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, you're creating jobs.
That's right.
You're getting paid. They're probably probably a little more trustworthy than some of the spells and runes placed about. I don't know.
Well, you know, you got to make sure people have one.
And you know, maybe the janitors here have a wand that has, you know, is filled with prestidigitation, so they
maybe so. They don't actually work. They just get paid
to point the wand and clean the spot.
You know.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm liking Strixhaven. I don't think it's the best book that we've seen so far. Again, for me, it's still Ravenloft. Von Richter's Guide to Ravenloft is like the best book in a long time. But
cool. Well, also out of them, this one seems to be the most limiting.
Yeah. On
them, so I'll take off my hat if people find me familiar.
I'll pull off frame for just a second.
All right. I got. I don't know. I think out of the three, I still got. Yeah, go back to the Ravenloft one. Pull. I don't know. It's almost in my mind. It's a little bit unfair putting Strixhaven against those two.
Yeah, it really is.
Because it does. The more we get into it, the more limited it seems. Yeah. That's not necessarily a bad thing, right? It's just the way that this world was working.
This is a setting. This is not a source that you can use somewhere else. This is a setting.
Yeah.
You know? And whereas Ravenloft, because of the way it was made, the mist could work into any person's world.
Right.
You know? Strixhaven is very much its own thing.
Yeah. It is. And like with Fizban's, it's Dungeons and Dragons. Right. You know, it's just an expansion on what you've already got.
Yes, absolutely.
So it goes in there. So I don't know.
And the Wild Beyond the Witchlight was very much that too. Of like, hey, here's here's just more of the Fae, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll get through the monsters that they've got and see what they add in there.
You know what this reminds me of? Theros. Mystic Odyssey of Theros.
Okay.
Like, it's...
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool stuff in Theros that I will never be able to use in most of my campaigns.
Right.
Because it requires so much of the world to be Theros, you know?
If the story ends up with a Harry Potter scheme instead of a fluffy Cerberus, it should be a horny male dragon. Make those things work for it.
That's right. That's right. And I don't think Theros is a bad book by far. I think Theros has some of my favorite stuff in it. But Theros is built on the prospect of being Theros, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't have you've gone through a little bit more. What's there is powerful,
right?
Limited. I think I'm kind of looking forward to the bestiary because I think this is going to be very.
Oh yeah, these monsters are so cool.
Very set for the college, you know, and the setup. But I don't know, man. And then is that it? That's the end of the book.
Yeah, after the bestiary, that's the end of the book.
because we're not in the thing. All right. That's kind of interesting.
Then the end of the year will just be
kind of wrap up and just random D&D talk, eh?
Because next week we'll have the bestiary, and the last episode will be just hanging out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It'll be nice.
Get ready for 2022.
Yeah.
Golly.
It can have you regularly fighting dragons, but most of the time it doesn't. And I don't think it's for the reason people think. People think it's because there's not enough dragons. That's not the problem.
No.
It's because DMs have run dragons. They want to run all the other stuff that's in the bestiary.
Also, the dragons are weird in D&D because you have wormlings, right? And you have some of the younger ones,
right?
That most of the time your group will just walk through.
Yeah.
And then you go up to adult, and you better have an ancient. You better get up there and have a group that can handle it.
That's right.
There's a big gap that jumps from when they're little to.
Yeah, there needs to be a mid-step.
Yeah.
Like a baby Tarask.
Yeah. Well, I think the lowest you can get with an adult dragon is the adult green dragon. You're looking at a challenge rating of 14.
Yeah.
So you could technically have a group of 4 groups, solid people know what they're doing, 4 12s.
Yeah.
Take that out. But it doesn't. And the funny thing, there's one book quest that Dungeons & Dragons put out that you actually end up fighting a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so definitely to your point there. Yeah, that should be. It should be a lot more.
Good old Tiamat.
Yeah, Tiamat. Going through, but then again, the Dragonlance.
Bring it.
Comes out. I mean, that's it's all about that. So I don't know.
Take on Takshish.
Right? They. I don't know if they're really gonna. I'm hoping they do. I hope they really, really dig into that.
Me too.
The whole thing, where you have the Dragon Riders and.
That's one where I want it to be like this, where it's like this. You can use this stuff in other places, but really it's made for this world.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of strange now, right? Because used to, well, at least, up through the end of 2nd edition, your main world, if it wasn't named, was Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything was set in Forgotten Realms, unless it was Greyhawk or something else. So all the basic rules from Forgotten Realms worked everywhere else.
Yes.
And then Dragonlance, Greyhawk, the Spelljammer, Mysteria, all had separate rules underneath that. And it's like this one feels a little bit, especially with Strixhaven now.
Yeah.
It really feels like no, that one's the generic D&D world is generic D&D world. It's not Forgotten Realms.
Absolutely. Forgotten Realms is its own thing.
Yeah. Its own thing. Very interesting. Very different.
Sorry, my sinuses are going crazy.
Yep. Well, the weather can't make up its mind.
Yeah, that's the truth.
It'll be freezing cold or nice and warm.
41, 71 the next day.
Yeah.
What is this? A cone of, was it life and death? Yeah. Wither
and bloom.
Yeah, wither and bloom. Come on now.
Dang it.
That is a cool idea for a spell. I want an elemental version of that.
Yeah.
It's like fire and ice.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't do as much. Maybe it's just D4s, but it's like, or D6s, but it's like, hey, this does 1d6 fire, 1d6 cold. Yeah. And just, hey, it's not going to be useful in every situation, but in some situations it's going to be really
great.
Useful.
Yeah. It will. What else? Okay. We've got 2 Tuesdays and 2 Thursdays left for our podcast. We've got 4 podcasts left for you going out. So please join us on Tuesdays and
Please do.
Thursdays at 7 o'clock. If you can make it. A little later. Is there anything else we need to announce?
Nothing I can think of. There is another book coming, but I don't think it's coming until middle of January.
Okay.
Start of February. And we'll probably cover that then. But we got a little bit of time till the next one. So got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Game of the Year's coming up. Game of the Year is not going to be as big as it was before because Endwalker's taking over my final month of the year. But, we got a lot of fun stuff coming, so please look forward to all that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. How you doing on coffee?
I'm getting there. I got a couple of sweets left.
Yeah? I'm excited for 2022. I think it's going to be a good year.
I think on both D&D front. On the tabletop role-playing front.
Yes.
Because there are quite a few things coming out.
Mm-hmm.
People getting a little bit brave from the boosts that it's seen over the past couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, there's a store with a lot of Gundam models. Oh, no!
Man.
Hopefully you'll get to go check it out. Hopefully you will.
Yeah.
Because, man, the last time that I was in a full model store, so, like, Hobby Lobby started carrying them.
Yeah, but
it's not
a model store where
right.
we have everything. They have a model aisle.
Oh, man.
I remember the last one was years ago. The last one I did, the biggest one they had was 6 foot tall.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh shoot! You'll tell y'all will kill me because I don't remember the name. It's the red helmet with the blue. It's a classic Gundam one.
Red helmet with the blue.
Yeah, I gotta get the blue here, but it's white. It's a white Gundam. Got the two blue. It's got blue on the front right here. Got red on the helmet. I can't remember.
That could be a lot of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But a couple $100, one of the two locations. MG, really? A master grade tall geese? Man. Yeah, I don't blame you at all. No, I want to get back into building models in 2022 for sure. We got Warhammer stuff coming up on the channel, and then I really want to get back into maybe doing some model kit reviews because I have a lot of model kits I haven't built yet. But we had spent a lot of time on the channel trying to crank out Let's Plays. And I don't, not to talk about this stuff early, but I don't really think the Let's Plays have brought in the viewership that they're costing in time to make.
Fair.
And there's other stuff I kind of want to make more. So, we'll see. We'll probably still do stuff.
I bet you would, Dark. I bet you would.
I bet you would too, yeah. No, I want to build them. I just haven't had time. But, I love building model kits. There's something so relaxing about it,
Yeah. Good thing. Well, I finished all my coffee, man.
Okay.
We've had a good show.
Yeah.
Really appreciate everybody joining us.
For sure.
Oh, wonderful. And then we're going to come back Tuesday for some video game talk.
I would say that this experience has been magical.
It always is, Trey.
Always. But until next time, I've been Trey.
I've been Rungren.
And we've been the Full Spectrum D&D podcast. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that D&D has to offer.